Hello and welcome to Cuesta Sports Monthly, an in-depth look at Cuesta athletics. I'm Peter Schuler, and on this month's show we will be joined by Cuesta wrestling coach Joe Dansby and star grappler Josh Cortes. We will also welcome cross-country coach Brian Locher and star harrier Sean McDermott. And just before we go, we'll steal a few moments with basketball coaches Rusty Blair and Ron Barba. Today, right now, we are joined by wrestling coach Joe Dansby and returning state qualifier Josh Cortes. The Cougars have just won their third straight conference crown and are gearing up for another run at the state title. So I'd like to welcome Joe and Josh to Cuesta Sports Monthly. Another great season underway, almost towards the end now. Joe, just kind of, can you give me a recap of what you saw from this season, beginning from the end, and how this team seems to be shaping up for you?
We're a little bit younger than last year, and we try to look at it as not really rebuilding, but just kind of reloading. We always make that our goal of ours is to win the conference. We always set up three goals that we have, and that's one of them. It's one of the first ones that we have is winning conference. So get the team gelling, get us in the right direction, get us focused, and that's where we're at, winning the third straight title.
So a young team coming back. Josh last year redshirted, having Josh back this year, state qualifier, state place winner. In 2013. Josh, how's it been for you, kind of that transition, this being your third year, from the first year to sitting out last year to this year?
It's been a good year so far. Just really enjoying the season and have a new appreciation for it. 2 years later, it's a different level. Feel more mature and more appreciating the opportunity to be wrestling still. So it's been a good season.
Now you had a lot of success your freshman year. And then took last year off. Were there things that you learned from your freshman year that you worked on during your off season and now are applying this year?
Yeah, I'd say so. I worked on my technique and strength, of course, in the off season, but mostly I knew more what to expect. Coming right out of high school, it was a pretty rough season my freshman year. I kind of peaked at the right time at state, but it was a tough season. And this year, I knew a lot more of what to expect. It's a different level mentally, and you got to be a lot tougher in college wrestling. So I definitely knew what to expect this season, and I think I've done well so far this year.
Now, some people say, okay, well, you took a year off, but you never really take a year off if you're going to come back and compete in wrestling, because if you get too far out of shape, you're going to be in real trouble.
Right.
What was that for you like mentally last year, where we had a successful team again, watching them win the conference title, and then hosting state championships here? What were some of the things that you drew from that year off that you're implementing now?
Well, I think mostly I knew that I had to make the most of that time. I appreciated watching my friends wrestle and do great that whole season and do well at state, but I just really wanted to focus my attention on this season and what I could do to build up to this season. So that was most of it.
We definitely missed Josh in that state run last year for sure.
So what are the things now having Josh back in this year with a younger team? What has that meant for your program right now?
It's nice to have some 3-year guys just for some leadership. Like Josh said, he knows what to expect. He's been through it for a couple of years. Even through redshirting, you're constantly working out hard. You're focused. Just maybe not getting the mat time in, but you're practicing extremely hard and prepping your mind and getting ready for the next year.
Now, is that a strategic thing for you as a coach? You talk about building and keeping the momentum going on these conference titles. Mm-hmm. You won a conference title the first year, Josh's freshman year. Mm-hmm. You redshirted him last year, so you have a guy in the room who's won a conference title, and then you bring him back this year. Has that helped? Just that kind of thing. Is that kind of an idea for you to make sure you have a continuation of things?
Well, we leave it up to the individual. We try to coach them through it, but definitely it does help us. We're always looking for leaders in that room, and it usually seems the person that's used to the program is a great leader. Kind of just falls right into place, just like for Josh.
Now, you have a couple extra meets. You have the brawl coming up this week. Mm-hmm. Then you have regionals coming up, and then the state meet. Last year we were 7th here at home. Right now you're tied for 6th in the state rankings. Kind of give us a little your prospects for state and how you guys feel like you're health-wise and skill-wise going into this.
It's always a bear trying to stay healthy. I'm sure that's in every sport, but definitely the last few years just trying to stay healthy and not only physically healthy, mentally healthy and ready to go. Tests are happening right now. kids are they're getting ready for finals, and then also getting ready for the finals of their wrestling. So we have to constantly talk and prepare them and get ready each step of the way. And we have Thanksgiving right in the middle of that too. So, they get to go home, get a little bit of rest, and hopefully not to get too stuffed.
Right.
And we got to talk about that too.
Right.
Exactly.
So now, right now you're really strong in some of those middleweights right now, and a little bit stronger at the heavier end too.
Yeah.
Josh is 157, 165. You have Luis Quintero, who was our last month's athlete of the month. Kind of right in there. Are you guys know where you're gonna place you two, or that's the conference? You guys are at the same weight, so
it's a great problem to have. It's a great problem to have, and you grow attached to these guys as a coach, and you almost hate to see them compete against each other, but it makes us stronger as a team. They'll both be competing at 57s. They're both ranked relatively high, so they'll both stay at 157s.
The state rule allowing you to qualify two wrestlers at the same
weight. We
get
now. Two weights that we can qualify two wrestlers at.
Now for Josh, for you coming in there as returning to state, is there? This is where you're most comfortable as the 157, and what was it like when you have to wrestle with the same guy every day in the room, and then you go out there and you compete?
So that's definitely, it was a transition a little bit, because I'm used to kind of just not to be arrogant, but kind of being the leader of my room, of my wrestling room. Well, at least around my weights throughout high school, and never really had to worry about that. But I've really made the most of it, and it's really useful to have a good partner to train with and compete with, kind of push each other, and we're good friends. So we don't.
So you go against the best every day in the room, and he gets to go against the best every day in the room.
Right.
You guys move on that way. So maybe we'll get a.
So it makes us both better. Right.
And they give each other tips. Actually, of their opponents.
That's great. So
helpful.
you have a great scout right there with you too.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the annual question of what the state of wrestling is now in community college, and this year we have two women on the team, and kind of the movement of women's wrestling, if you want to.
Yeah, it's a super growing sport, especially in high school. I'm actually in a subcommittee for our association, and we're looking at kind of putting a sampler out there for 2017, spring of 2017, seeing which schools are available to compete, to possibly compete for the spring. Still a lot of details to get through, but there's a big push of our association to get it started in spring. Is Cuesta ready for it? We'll find out. We definitely have women, though, that are interested in.
Okay. My last question, Josh, you enjoy philosophy, writing poetry, and playing guitar. Is that kind of the rough and tumble wrestling side going off to the other side, a little bit more, creative side of yours, or does that creativity work into your wrestling?
I think I'd say it does work into your wrestling. That's kind of a difficult thing to work out for yourself. Because some people are naturally just kind of street fighters. They want to compete, and I do too. But it's kind of, you have to find yourself in that and find the balance where you can use those kinds of things to compete on the mat. So.
Well, good luck the rest of the way, and good luck at state, and good luck to your
Thank
team.
You.
That does it for wrestling here on Cuesta Sports Monthly. Stay tuned when we return with Cross Country with Coach Brian Locher and runner Sean McDermott.
Cuesta.edu. Television, radio, broadcast, communications. Explore the world of digital communication and tap into your creative genius. Television, radio, broadcast, communications.
This is your boy, the DUI, and you're listening to KGUR.org.
Your digital future is at Cuesta College right now. Log on to Cuesta.edu now for enrollment dates and class information.
Don't put the boom in the shot.
Blown it, bro!
Cuesta.edu.
We're back on campus with Cuesta Sports Monthly. I'm Peter Schuler, and cross country is headed to the state championships this weekend. It's the 8th straight appearance for the men's team, and we're glad to have Coach Brian Locher and his top harrier, Sean McDermott, join us today. Welcome, Sean. Welcome, Brian. Welcome back to Cuesta Sports Monthly. Brian, here you are, 8th straight state championship team, or state championship appearance for your team.
Yeah.
First time that had happened for those 8. That first year was the first time it happened since 1982 when there was a 2-division system. You've resurrected the program almost a decade straight going to the state meet. What's happening out there at Cuesta College and out there in that?
Very good question. We're excited. I think success begets success. It's the cliche, but it's true. I've developed a successful program over the past 8 years, and the athletes are starting to find me at this point. So we have a lot of Ron was on before this, and he talked about the success of a program and developing networks, and I think that's something we've been able to develop with cross country as well. And I've really enjoyed the process, and I think that when you put the energy out there and you have the success of your athletes, then the success continues to filter in. So we've had really good athletes the past couple of years. We developed athletes that we needed to get the job done, and here we are, year 9 of my time here at Cuesta, and yeah, I think we've got one of the best teams that we've ever put on the line at state championships.
Now that's saying, coming last year, you were the 6th place team, which is the best finish you've had, and basically Cuesta Colleges hadn't, because as we said, but before the 1982 season, there was a 2-division system. It's a 1-division system. So all 8 of Cuesta's state appearances has been under you. Last year was the season best, and so now we're even moving into the top 5. Is that where we're going?
Well, this year our goal is going to be top 10, so we've only done that once before, and that was last year. We've had some teams we felt were going to be able to knock on the door of that, and we weren't able to get it done. But we have a team that is going to be top 10 again this year after Saturday's race.
Now you talk a little bit about students and runners finding you. Time at Cabrillo College, time at Sierra College, now at Cuesta College. Did you find Cuesta College, or how did you get here to Cuesta College? Not by car, but
I actually coached track at North Tahoe High School with a former athlete of Brian Locher, Rob Daniels. He told me all about it, and I have a few friends on the track team who just loved it, so just came see if I could do something for the program.
Now, the time between high school, you were coaching and going to other colleges. Was it just something where you wanted to get back into competition? You felt the need for it, or what was the driving force behind it?
I missed it. I missed the competition. I missed being in shape. It made me a good athlete, good student. I just missed it.
Now, your first race, and Brian, you could talk about this a little bit. We had talked about you in the preseason, and Brian thought, with some time, Sean could really be a great runner. You won that first race at Tour de Cuesta by almost a minute. Established yourself right away as kind of the runner here on campus. And just was that just your fitness level was at that point, or were you really trying to make that first run a statement point?
I just was training so hard and so dedicated over the summer, waking up at 5 a.m. before work because I really wanted to make my name out there, kind of. And my little brother, he runs for a D1 school, so I had him pushing me all summer, and that's what you need, a push.
So there's a good family push there.
Oh yeah,
that's great. Now, what did you see with that first race when Sean kind of jumped out there? He's won, 3 of his races this year, and just kind of what did you see? I mean, we talked early in the season. You said he has definitely potential, but
I was surprised, to be honest with you. I mean, Sean's a racer, so his workouts are quality, but he usually kind of mixes in with the pack of other runners, and we have some really good runners on the team. And so, Sean loves hills as well, and in our hill workouts, he would run ahead of the other guys where he was running with them most of the time. And so we knew Sean had some tools to be a good athlete, but we weren't exactly sure how much. And he ran conservative early at that Cuesta meet, and then after Tower Hill, he just put 45 seconds on the rest of the competition. And there were some pretty decent runners at that meet. And so that, to me, said quite a bit. I mean, we weren't even at full throttle at that point. We were just getting started. So the big one for me was 2 weeks later at SoCal prelims when he took 5th. That's the highest place runner we've had since I've been coaching here at the SoCal prelim meet.
Yeah, so a lot of things to look forward there. Now you've run a lot of different races so far this year, and in your career, Coach talked about you running hills real well. What is that kind of a Tahoe thing, or is there a type of course that you like best? Running on the sand in Santa Barbara, I don't know. But what kind of course do you feel most comfortable? Is it that those hilly races?
It's mountains. I grew up in the mountains running hills in high school. We had this varsity hill that was tedious and long and just super steep, and we'd do hill sprints 10 at a time up those, and our high school coach was just wonderful and pushing us up hills, and I grew to love it, to strive at it.
Now, talk about that. You're growing to love it. When did you first just kind of get into running? Were you just always naturally fast, or was it something about the fitness level, or what was it that you enjoyed about running? You talked about it being a family kind of sport with your brother. Mm-hmm. What was the thing that drove you into running or brought you into running?
My godfather, actually, who was my high school coach, coached it. I actually played soccer my first year of high school instead of cross country, and I had to face him, and he was like, soccer's not it for you. I think you could be a great runner. So that's what I did, and he's just my mentor, and I always looked up to him, so why not try a sport?
Well, it seems to be he had the right choice there for you. He was really helping you along. Brian, you have a great individual runner right here with Sean, and you're building the team, and you have a piece to work around. Where do you work as a team and individual, and how does that kind of balance out with these guys? And
we have a team goal, so the objective for us is to get to where we want to be as a team by the end of the season. But as is the reality with every other sport, there's sickness, there's injuries, there's academic pressures and family pressures that are coming from the outside. So we try to individualize things, mileage schedules or workouts per athlete when they need that. If they need time off or if they need to be pushed a little harder, then we try to work that into the schedule for them. An example of that is a young man we have this year, Roberto Bazan, who really wasn't able to train with the team most of the year because we need to progress his fitness at a rapider rate because he was injured over a lot of the summer. So we take that individuality into perspective to try to get the team on board for our conference and state championships.
Okay. Well, you have these guys coming in here, and they're running real well. And now you also have the women's team, which is going back to state after missing last year. They have had a lot more success as a program over the last 20 years. But talk a little bit about this year's team. You have you have a veteran runner, you have a rookie runner. You kind of putting it all together there with the women's team.
Women's team women are naturally pretty patient for their running process. So the guys need to be held back a lot at the beginning of the season when the girls need to be pushed to work a little bit harder at the beginning of the season. And the girls have come along really well. We were at a stage earlier this year where we were looking to find the pieces to determine whether we're going to be able to get to state. And some of the pieces we needed kind of showed up. The women raised the ante, so to speak, to get the team to where we needed to be. They were kind of on board with what we needed the whole year. And when we needed them most at conference at SoCals, they stepped it up. And we were able to qualify a surprising 11th at the SoCal Championships and really exceeded our expectations. But we think we still have more work to do at state.
Well, good luck to you guys, both for the men's and women's at state. And, of course, Sean, I hope they bring back at least a top 10. But I'm kind of holding out for an individual title. So good luck to both of you guys. That does it for cross country here on Cuesta Sports Monthly. I'd like to thank again Brian Locher and Sean McDermott. And good luck to them at state again this weekend. And when we return, we'll talk basketball with coaches Ron Barba and Rusty Blair here on Cuesta Sports Monthly.
This program is produced by Cuesta Broadcasting. Start your radio, TV, and film career at Cuesta College.
We're back with Cuesta Sports Monthly and basketball coaches Ron Barba and Rusty Blair. Both the men's and women's teams have begun their pre-conference play and have brought home trophies from their first tournaments. So I'd like to welcome Rusty and Ron to Cuesta Sports Monthly. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Ron, first weekend out there. Tough first game, but came back and won the consolation championship. How you feel about your team so far this year?
Well, I think once we get healthy and we get everybody out there and get the chemistry flowing, I think it'll be a more competitive group. I think the first game, opening up with Contra Costa, was good. It shows the level of talent that we got to play
preseason
against.
ranked 14th, so they weren't
correct.
an easy team to draw the first.
No,
first
we
night
were
out.
right with them in the first half, and I just think fatigue and fouls kind of got into it. Plus, the 4-quarter change in basketball a little different. So
you guys went from 2 20-minute halves now to 4 10-minute quarters.
Yeah,
and
it
that's
slows
kind of
the game down a lot with the foul situation. No more one-on-ones. Everything's 2 shots. So
you're not a fan of that. This
Not
change
at
so
all.
far. Not,
No,
the first weekend is not.
not at
go
all.
Back to
But
the
I'm happy we got to play. Got games in. This week is another great week for us. So it's good.
All right. Now, Rusty, same thing. You guys went 2-1 your first night out. Beat local rival West Hills, Mark Arcee up there, and then you beat number 14 Fullerton, and then ran into defending state champion and current number 1 Saddleback, and had your first setback of the year. How do you guys feel after that first weekend as you're going so far?
Well, I think it was good to play the top dog in the state. By far, they're the top dog in the state. There was no one even close to them. So it was good to see what the absolute top is at this early in the season. We have a benchmark we can aim for and shoot for. So really the results were good this weekend. We'd obviously like to win our own tournament, but when you're playing overwhelming unanimous number 1, okay, they probably should have won the game, and if you watch the game, they did win the game. So it was good for us to play that team.
Now, Ron, you're not bringing too many players back this year. You have one returner, Kendra Losa, and so how have you done reloading this team, and what are you looking at this team so far this year?
I think JC, you always run into that every year. You get players that come and go and graduate, and some leave early because they get scholarship opportunities or whatever. But with Kendra back, we at least have somebody that understands the system, so it does help. But we also have some pretty good local kids, I think, that have kind of come in and shown that they're the prep star of where they've been. I think Storley and Kirshner and Autumn Russell, we haven't got to see Russell yet because of injury, but I think once she steps on the floor, we have a way different look. But they also have, a little bit of basketball sense and savvy, so they pick up quicker, and they become leaders for you.
Now you bring a lot of athletes from around the area, in our area,
Right.
and then also outside the area. What are some of the things that you just talk about with Cuesta College that helps these kids decide this is where they want to go?
Well, I think one is it's kind of a family approach. I mean, you get to know everyone, and I think the girls know the men's program, and the men know the women, so there's camaraderie built right away for that. Plus, you have a small town atmosphere. The kids know the kids from Cal Poly here. So you have this beautiful scenery in San Luis Obispo. Why wouldn't you want to come? Yeah. So the beach and the area in itself attracts. I think the housing has been the hardest part, obviously, with so many students living in San Luis and people wanting to live here for jobs. Right. So, those create challenges. But I think it also brings people to it.
Yes.
And students. So it's a good thing.
Now, Rusty, this year you have a lot of returners back this year, and just so how are you bringing in you've also brought in a lot of new kids. You have 9 sophomores on this team this year. Mm-hmm. Some were yours, some are playing their second year with you. Kind of how does that help with team chemistry, or what are the things that you do to bring in these guys who are playing their second year, along with the freshmen and your returners?
Well, it should play off with a lot of benefits because any team that has second-year players, they have more experience. And basically the 5 returners from Cuesta plus a redshirt, that gives us 6. There's 4 of them going to be impact players. In fact, we have a returning point guard that was first team all-conference.
Right, Benyat.
Yeah. And the newcomers coming in, transferring in, that were sophomores, they've all played at a high level before. So I feel that really if you have a team with 9 sophomores, you should win. Because I believe that the most in the previous 23 years we've had was 7 in any season. So this is by far the most. We do have a good crop of freshmen coming in too. So we're very excited about this year.
Now you do have a lot of players who are, sophomores. This is their year. we talk a little bit about playing time for you guys, and how are you divvying that up, and how are you making sure that whole group is happy? I mean,
that is the toughest question. Playing time is always a big question of any sport, especially at our level. Kids want to play, they want to be seen, they want to move to the next level. They feel if they're not seen, they're not going to move. However, we have a different approach. Our approach is if you win and you play at a moderate level, meaning not extremely large amount of minutes, you will be seen and you'll be recognized, and that's been our philosophy. And up to now, we've placed over 100 players at the 4-year level, so that seems to be working because the players are coming in with the aspect not to visit beautiful San Luis Obispo, because they don't know where San Luis Obispo is at, but to move to the next level. And of course, at the same time, that's helping our program win and grow to another level too.
So it's where he's going, family and environment and all these great things that his students are getting out of it. You're going, hey, I'll move you on, and we'll get there.
However, the parents that are coming in to visit their sons here, they return year after year after year, and these are international parents and kids coming back because we do live in paradise.
Right. Yeah. So talk about a little bit about successful placement. You've had a lot of players move on. You've had a lot of players move on. What is it about Cuesta College that you guys think your program helps these kids get to the next level so quickly?
Ron?
Well, I think the mere fact that both coaches, I mean, I think I can say this, we've played at different levels, and Rusty extensively, obviously, overseas, but I think that really helps you as a coach to understand what you need to do to get the players through the levels. We've played in junior high, high school, college, and professionally, so each level is a preparation to get to. And I think the mere fact that when you play, you make contacts. When you have contacts, you have networks. Networks bring players. Your success is built upon what you do in your program. As Rusty alluded to, I think when you play tough teams and you are competitive and you stay in that realm and you're making the playoffs and you're building your players to the level that you can get them not only to be improved for themselves but to compete at the next level, I think that's huge. And I use fundamentals. That's where I try to build them up more and more.
And the hardest thing is for them to recognize that it's the whole process of getting through the season and being at a successful level, win-loss record. That's what really is the overriding factor here. And we've seemed to have done that over the last 10, 15 years since the internationals come in. And then internationals are recognizing just where people are going. Syracuse, Southern Mississippi, Hawaii. So they're starting to recognize the name colleges that they're going to. So that helps us attract those international students.
Now, Ron, real quick, 10 seconds. You have increased your win total every year you've been coaching here. Quick expectation about where you guys reach the playoffs again this year? Or
well, I think it's going to depend on chemistry, our growth, and hopefully teamwork. Okay. I mean, it's that simple.
Rusty, you guys back to the playoffs, think, this year?
We would like to break into the top 4.
All right. Well, big going to the state this year. All right.
That's it.
All right. Well, that does it for Cuesta Sports Monthly. Cuesta basketball coaches, Rusty Blair and Ron Barba, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us, both going to the playoffs. Rusty going to the state tournament, hopefully. We'd like to stay tuned with Cuesta Sports Monthly. Keep up to date with athletic information on Cuesta's athletic website. I'd like to thank all our guests today, Rusty Blair, Ron Barba, Joe Dansby, Josh Cortes, Brian Locher, and Sean McDermott. This show is produced at Cuesta College by Cuesta Broadcast Communications Department as part of the Cuesta TV project. Check out Charter Channel 2 all year long for this show and other Cuesta content. Thank you for being a fan of Cuesta College. I'm Peter Schuler. And for all of us here at Cuesta, thanks for watching and thank you for your support.